have a right to have and to practice our religious belief in this country. And the citizens of this country need to stand up for that right, and they need to shout and not to bow down to an anti-Christ agenda. This is the whole issue. This is why Simeon is locked out of the Bar of Ireland.
We're here again outside the Bar Council of Ireland, and Simeon Burke did not secure a master before the deadline of 5 p.m. This past Monday. And just a few hours before the deadline, Mr. Seán Guerin, the chair of the Bar Council, wrote Simeon a letter of 4 pages. And in that letter he made a number of incorrect statements. He said, for example, that perhaps Simeon did not start looking for a master until April 2024.
Which was blatantly untrue.
Blatantly untrue, and that maybe the reason why he didn't secure a master was because he left it too late. That's completely untrue. It's a very devious statement. He also said that he fully endorsed the statements made by Mr. Femi Danian and Ms. Wafa Memog that he would not receive assistance from the Bar Council in securing a master. Now, in 2018, the Bar Council said to the LSRA, the Legal Services Regulatory Authority, that every pupil is assured, can be assured of finding a master. Every pupil
on
is
one
assured.
hand, they say every pupil is assured of a master. That's what Seán Guerin says to the government. Every pupil is assured of a master, and then he fully endorses the total opposite, that Simeon Burke will get absolutely no help and may not secure a master as a result.
And it's quite shocking that in that he brought up the Court of Appeal hearing in Enoch Burke's case in March 2023, where 3 Court of Appeal judges, Judge George Birmingham, Judge John Edwards and Judge Moira Whelan, delivered judgment in Enoch Burke's case and said that the case had nothing to do with transgenderism. Everyone knows that Enoch Burke's case is all about transgenderism.
And we did speak out, as any right citizen of this country should do, when the judiciary are telling lies and agreeing with the government. The judges should be separate from the government. But there you had Moira Whelan, appointed or nominated by Leo Varadkar, and bypassing all procedures, put onto the bench the appeal court, an activist, a promoter of transgender ideology, and Enoch Burke sitting in front of her. What could anyone expect? Lies, lies, lies. And that's why Enoch Burke, Simeon's brother, is lying in a prison cell in Mountjoy this evening. And it's very, very concerning that Seán Guerin would write to my son at 2:30 and more or less tell him, you haven't a hope of getting in here. This is a sad state our country is in. So they go ahead and they have their orientation the next day, their celebration.
In which they welcomed the 85 new pupil barristers to the Bar Council here.
And leave Simeon sitting at home after his brilliant results. He's been called first. Is
graduate of Cambridge University.
Sunday World did an article on Simeon. He has been tutoring, and they reported on Simeon some of the comments made by his clients. And I'll just read some of those. They said he was an outstanding tutor. They said he went above and beyond. He gave more than 100%. He was a teacher that inspires you, and so on and so forth. He was absolutely outstanding. You couldn't recommend him highly enough, but he's not good enough for Seán Guerin. He's not good enough for the Bar Council, because that doesn't matter a whit how good he is. He doesn't accept transgender ideology. He doesn't accept perversion of God's truth. So he's not good enough for the Bar Council of Ireland. A sad and sorry state our country is in. And when you go to the orientation the next day, you have the celebrations that evening.
Seán Guerin gave an address to the pupils. There was also a closing address, and that was given by Mr. Rossa Fanning, the Attorney-General of Ireland. Now, the Attorney-General is the legal advisor to the government.
He was appointed in 22, I think.
Yes.
Again, a friend of Leo Varadkar. And Leo Varadkar has a lifestyle that isn't a Christian lifestyle. He's a homosexual. He lives with another man. So this man was appointed
by
Rossa
Fanning
by Leo Varadkar. And
just a few months ago, in June of this year, Mr. Rossa Fanning attended a Pride celebration amongst legal professionals. It was legal professionals, the Law Society of Ireland and the Bar Council celebrating lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual,
anything you want,
lifestyles within the legal profession. And as you can see in the picture there, you can see Mr. Fanning, and at his feet is a man dressed up as a woman lying on the ground. So a celebration of all things perverse and quite shocking, really.
So as you can see, this is an absolutely revolting image. It's obvious that the Attorney-General Rossa Fanning enjoys the company of those men who like to dress up as women. And this is the whole issue. This is why Simeon is locked out of the Bar of Ireland.
Yes.
It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. We have a right to have and to practice our religious belief in this country. And the citizens of this country need to stand up for that right, and they need to shout and not to bow down to an anti-Christ agenda that's been pushed upon us. Every school in this country,
yes,
as I said before, primary and secondary and third level, our young people are being poisoned. It's not diversity, it's perversity. And this has been pushed down the throats of our young people. And the church is silent. And that's very sad. And I would call upon the church to stand up for the young people of Ireland. We have a history of child abuse. And we look to the past and we say we're sorry. And we all like to get on the moral high ground. And we look back to what happened. And you know, it's very easy to do that. And it's very easy to take the moral high ground and say, wasn't that terrible? It's happening today in our schools,
yes,
in our primary schools, in our secondary schools, in our colleges. Perversity. Things that shouldn't be spoken about. Tenny being brought into our schools. Transgender Network of Ireland being brought into our schools. Any school where there's no teacher to teach it, Tenny will be brought in, behind the parents' backs. But I would say today, where is the church? When it came to Enoch Burke, the church was silent. Pat Story had nothing to say.
no.
Archbishop John McDowell had nothing to say. But when we went to the synod in Armagh, in May to question John McDowell, the first thing that we met with outside the door of the meeting, where he was giving his address, was an altar to transgender ideology and every other perverse thing. LGBTQ. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. An altar set up. A stand promoting transgender ideology. It's no wonder the man inside is dumb. He has nothing to say. He's a promoter of transgenderism. Shame upon you, John McDowell. And you are a disgrace, Pat Story. Bishop Pat Story, who denies Christian teaching. What a disgrace. And how dare Wilson's Hospital School say they foster Christian belief when there's a young man locked up in a cell this September evening, a tiny cell, locked in day and night, because Pat Story keeps her mouth shut. She's a promoter of every evil thing. How dare she say she's fostering Christian belief? And she's a betrayer, as I said before, and a Judas. And the people of Ireland need to call upon the church to stand up. That is the purpose of the church. It's salt, it's light. The salt is a preserver of society. When there's contamination, the salt is a preserver. And the scripture says to the church, to the true Christian, ye are the salt of the earth. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. That is the raison d'etre of the church. And if it doesn't stand up for God and for truth and encourage parents to train their children in godly ways, and the ways of Christ and say no to this perversity, then it has no reason to be. And I would call upon the church, the true church across Ireland today, to stand against this perversity that's jailing our young people and keeping our young people out of employment. It's an absolute disgrace.